And hello, everyone. Welcome. It is high school football season. We are at Wasatch High School, and it is time to go. This is Brent Martindale for Sting TV. Hiram Gailey right next to me, and Corey Lang running the show right here. Hiram, this is a big fun night to have a first night of football.
I mean, it sure is. The weather, the atmosphere, everything just seems perfect here. First home game for Wasatch. I mean, coming off of two back-to-back wins, one of those being a 50-point win, and Mountain View doing a little bit of the same, getting a 56-12 win against Mountain Ridge, pardon me, getting a 56-12 win last week. I mean, both of these teams proven to have explosive offenses and somewhat really well defensive teams. I mean, we'll see how this game shapes out, but I'm excited for it.
We are ready for the kickoff. It is officially home game season. Wasatch High School, here we go. And the kick is up, and Wasatch will take over.
That is a fair catch back in the end zone.
And as you mentioned, Hiram, two great teams. You know, I had a chance to interview Coach Mike Mayfu of Mountain Ridge before the game. We're actually going to play that interview, I believe, either in between quarters or at the halftime. But Mike Mayfu is a former player of Steve Coburn at Snow College, and you'll be able to hear that interview. He compliments Coach Coburn, but absolutely huge team, Mountain Ridge. There's a play right off, pass immediately to La Kalama, and immediately Wasatch. Not quite a first down. Yes, the chains are going to move. So, and as you have seen all season, this is the no huddle quick offense that is baffling teams at this point. There's a reception to Josh Sanders. Sanders has played a couple of great weeks of football for Wasatch with some great numbers.
And I mean, you even saw this last year. Darius Edwards is most
to have a measurement, looks like, for that play. And no, they're just going to call it a first down. First and 10.
Yeah. But no, like I was saying, with this slow pace, there's a flag on the field.
Flag on the play.
Flag on the play.
We will get a chance to see that. That was a 34-yard run approximately, but that does look like it's coming back. Yeah. It will come back to the line of scrimmage. And it was a holding. That is a difficult, devastating thing.
That very much is. And like I was saying, though, with Mountain Ridge, they play a very slow, methodical game. And so if you can shut it down on that first or second drive, it's going to be really easy to stop in the future. But if you let them build up this momentum, it's momentum built over time, not over seconds. So it's going to be a lot more sustainable here. And that's the major difference between Wasatch and Mountain Ridge's offensive games.
It is first down again all over. And there is going to be, and that is a sack, a big sack. Once again, unbelievable.
I mean, Caden Luke, a junior here for Wasatch, having a really, really great first quarter, and we are just
made already this drive 3 spectacular plays to help Wasatch. So now second down and 11. And as you mentioned, Hiram, very different offense. Slow. They're going to take all the time they can, Sentinels, and get set. Wasatch being very patient.
I mean, they started their drive at just Luke in on it, as well as all 3 of the defensive linemen lining up there.
This time, Cade Uluave able to get nowhere. And that will be a loss. They were able, wow, they got a gracious placement of the ball there. I thought they would have been a little farther back. That's definitely not where they tackled him, it looks like to me. But
yeah, I think they might be factoring in some forward momentum as where the handoff might have been, but that's only the best guess that I got.
Third down and 12.
Route runner there. And you saw almost like the fear that Mountain Ridge had towards him. We played them last year and won quite favorably. And I don't think a lot of the people have forgotten Jaron Kalama's name, and a lot of people have probably marked him. So staying away from him, giving him the occasional shot, that's going to do Wasatch a lot of favors.
Coach Mayfu of Mountain Ridge we spoke with, as we mentioned earlier, And there's heavy pressure. This time they will bring down Edwards as the quarterback. That is their first sack of the game.
I mean, good job by Edwards to duck the first blitzer, but, I mean, came up right as another blitzer kind of came and hit him. That's not what you like to see from an offensive line, but Wasatch can make up for it here.
Looks like a loss of about 5, so it'll be second down and 15. There's a reception this time. Cook, and he just gets a couple of yards after his reception. Cook has had a great season so far. Third down. It's going to be a first down.
I mean,
for Wasatch.
You can really see the chemistry that Adarius Edwards has with Josh Sanders. Almost looked surprised to see it, but almost wasn't surprised at the same time.
Just out of bounds for Josh Sanders. And so it will be second down.
Fast, where Peter Muslar is just straight up fast.
So Mountain Ridge will take over. Second possession of the game for them. The first one ended in a punt. But of course, as we mentioned, almost a score with their big, huge running back, Cade Uluave. And there's Uluave with the ball again. He runs around, and he has already got to have, well, with exception of the 35-yard run, he still probably has another 35 yards.
I mean, that guy is really big. Almost looks like he could be an offensive lineman, but he certainly runs like a running back and has the vision of one, too.
A little quick no-huddle offense this time from Mountain Ridge. That pass is deflected, caught, but tackled. Wyatt Horrocks of the Sentinels makes the catch. And once again, I believe.
Pardon me. Caden Luke, number 24 on the field. Caden Luke certainly had a hand up in the face of, and then you had Kona Kaya there to, shall we say, get the tackle for loss. Great play by Wasatch. Great teamwork on display.
All right, so there will be a referee timeout. Here, we want to talk just a little bit about some of the upcoming events. Here at Wasatch High School, Friday, September 3rd, we thought Mountain Ridge was big, Hiram. Next week, Pleasant Grove comes to town. So that'll be 2 6A teams in a row that Coach Coburn has scheduled. And obviously, Coach Coburn has big expectations for his team.
Wasatch right now is on the borderline of 5A to 6A, so maybe he's testing the waters and seeing if they can't. Oh, my goodness.
And that is a pass there's no one going to catch. Kedu Uluave. And that is a touchdown for Mountain Ridge. Boy, that was quick.
You know, and I said something early in the first quarter that I know I'm going to regret. I said the first team to score is going to win this game. And that would have been true had Wasatch gotten a stop right there, but Wasatch unable to do their job on defense. A really nice pass, nice read by Aiden Helm. And I mean, just a terrific play by Mountain Ridge. You got to give them credit getting back in the game before they can even have a chance to, have to make a comeback.
And the ball was deflected on that kick, but still went through the uprights. And the point is good. So that. And that one's mine. That one's yours.
Pardon me.
No worries.
Everybody.
No worries.
Sorry about the sneeze.
Well, so with that score, and we have lost the scoreboard, not only do we not have a scoreboard, but the stadium scoreboard has gone down. What we know the score is 7-7. What we don't know at this point is how much time is left. And once again, we want to thank you for joining us here at Sting TV. We also, as we mentioned, Brent Martindale here with Hiram Gailey. Hiram, glad to have you back, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to be back. Truly one of my favorite things in the world right here, sitting up in the booth.
Hiram, one of the classic workers in the entire studio there at Sting TV, and graduated this last May, and we congratulate you on that. 326 is on the clock. So if I heard a 326 is what will be on the clock. And once again, both teams scoring touchdowns here in the first quarter. And this is, Hiram, looking just like the game we expected it to be so far. big.
A great game all around. But this might be a technical timeout.
Well, pretty sure
trying to get the
it
clock
was
in sync.
3:26 at the kickoff. So 2:58 is what the referees now are saying. So you know what? First game of the season.
Yeah.
There's always some ticks here and there.
He's a great open field tackle. What he showcased.
Wasatch looked like they had plenty of time for.
Oh my goodness.
Once again, Cade Uluave, another what looks like a 25-yard run. And Uluave easily has got to have near 70 if he got tackled on. That was pulled back by a penalty.
I mean, after tallying it all in my head, I'm thinking he probably has about 120 yards total in this game.
He could.
It's not even the end of the first quarter.
This time the ball handed off to Samisi Kinikini. And for a couple of yards, actually it looks like there is a loss in the play. So it will now be second down and about 12 for Mountain Ridge. 1:25 left on the clock here in this amazing first quarter. Back to pass. This time potentially intercepted, and it is intercepted. That is La Akalama. He's still going at the 30. He's going to be brought down at the 36-yard line of Mountain Ridge.
I mean, La'a Kalama is a great player for a lot of reasons, and one of those intangible reasons that we just saw there was the knowing and leadership that he just showcased. Sure, he made a heck of a play getting that interception, but realizing that he has to make a play, he has to get that momentum back to Wasatch. I mean, taking Mountain Ridge off the field after their running back now has over 100 yards total in this game. I mean, that's huge for Wasatch. And we might see a little bit of a slower-paced game here from Wasatch, just trying to get to the end of the quarter. We'll see.
So Wasatch takes over. 1:05 left in the first quarter. They are on their own 37-yard line. The pass is complete quickly to Blake Smith. That'll be his first catch of the night. Couple of yards on the play. Second down. It looks like second down and 7. Now there's 46 seconds and the clock's still going. Pass quickly. This time Edwards is going to run. He's got a little bit of space. He's got hit by Mountain Ridge, but definitely passed and got the first down on the play. And he was brought down, it looked like 30. Great. You all can see that watching here with this Steam TV. But Corey Lang has worked his magic, performed a miracle, and the scoreboard, as you can see, is on the screen. Great job, Corey. And we'll still give you as much as we can, but great job. That is very professional. Well done.
28-35.
Well, and easy to mention that offense is going to be plentiful. However, it was the defense of Wasatch last week that held a really good team to just 3 points for the whole night. And those 3 points came in the first quarter. So at this point, so far, Wasatch showing some strength for sure on both sides of the ball. Hiram, looks like we are in the dusk of the night, and once again, a beautiful night for football here. That pass is complete this time on the sideline. Still going over there on that side, Josh Sanders.
I mean, something that's very apparent to me right here is that with this fast-paced offense, the most important thing is trusting your quarterback and trusting everybody else on that field. And that right there is what's making this so successful.
Once again, second down and about 2 yards. The pass going toward the end zone, and that looks like caught, but are they going to call? They are going to say no catch and just barely pushed out of bounds that time. And that looks like, once again, Nalu Kirashima almost made a fantastic play there. Made a great catch, but just got pushed out of bounds. So it will now be third down and 1. And this is actually a big play. Wasatch really, really wants to score on this possession. Although right there could be an issue. Oh, it's an offense on Mountain Ridge. And Hiram, as I said, that is a big play.
That is a massive play. I mean, earlier in the first quarter, we saw the effect that penalties can have. I mean, Mountain Ridge with a 3rd and 38 about.
Yep.
Back to a 1st and 10. I mean, here you see Mountain Ridge paying a little back to Wasatch, giving them that 3rd down play.
Wasatch now 1st and 10 on their own 29-yard line. Sorry, on the 29-yard line of Mountain Ridge. That ball is bobbled but caught and still on his feet is Jared Kalama. Touchdown, Wasatch.
If I'm going to be completely honest with you, that play would not have happened if he had just straight up caught the ball.
You're right.
It obviously an accident, and as a coach, you want to preach safe hands, safe hands. You got to get those.
But the nice part is you at home, if you're watching this on your computer or your iPad, you actually can do anything you want. You can rewind it and watch that play again.
Yeah.
And just like Hiram said, it looked like there was a bobble.
Yeah.
Was there a deflection from the defender?
There was not a deflection. Darius Edwards told the defender right where he's going with his eyes. The defender bit a little too hard. Jaron Kalama took a step forward, really a perfect communication there, nonverbal. Just Darius Edwards and Jaron Kalama working together to mislead that defender where the ball was going. And then, Jaron Kalama probably would have gotten about 10 yards on that play had he not bobbled it, but the bobbling, the confusion. Some of those defenders were like, oh, play's over, and then you just saw a terrific spin move and into the end zone.
And that's the thing is there's
Jaron
two
Kalama.
parts of that play. There's the catch, which was crazy, but then to stay in bounds and be able to make that touchdown run, amazing. So the kick into the end zone will be an automatic touchback, and Mountain Ridge will take over at their own 20-yard line. So fireworks already in this game tonight.
14-7. I want to say that Wasatch is ahead in this game, and statistically they are, right? But we saw that Mountain Ridge doesn't just go away after one play. In fact, they're probably going to, in this first drive, you're looking at a 40, 50-yard play potentially that they're going to try and get. And that's because that they know that if they can get that play, they're back in this game.
This time, a run. It looks like Simisi Kinikini. That time looks like he got about 5 yards. The big story, of course, for Mountain Ridge is fantastic running backs and a quarterback. Aiden Helm did have that little miscue on the interception that play, but otherwise has looked fabulous. And then, of course, Cade Uluave, so far the offensive player of the game for both teams.
Also a massive offensive line. That's really what helps Mountain Ridge out. The smallest player on that offensive line is their right tackle. And, he's on par with all of the defensive tackles himself. So that should say just how big this offensive line is. Being at an equal size and being the smallest player on your team, that's something.
So the run that time again by Kinikini for Mountain Ridge. And this will now be 3rd down and about 5. Back to pass is Helm. And no good.
There you have an interesting call by the ref. He might be calling a pass interference, but if he is, he's dead wrong on that because that ball wasn't catchable from the get-go. The receiver wasn't even within 10 yards of that. So, if he calls a pass interference, I'm sorry, he's wrong.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
If he calls a holding, I could potentially see that. But if it's a pass interference, he's wrong.
The only thing I would think is, like you said, the holding maybe before the play, that he was holding him before he was that's a holding. So the hold, not necessarily on the pass play, except it was probably on the coverage. It looks like that was Kalama, Jaron Kalama. They're going to say
not a game that any team wants.
TV. A dynamite fireworks first quarter here for both teams. Ended in a 7-7 tie, which seemed like a game in itself.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Wasatch threatening to score at the end of the first quarter, and they scored again, and they did finally score at the opening of the second quarter. So we are, as it shows there, 9 minutes 23 seconds left in the first half, and Mountain Ridge in their possession. It's already had one first down, but now it's 3rd down and 8. Another big play for Wasatch. Coach Coburn's still talking to the referee about that holding play a couple plays ago.
That ref's just like, let it go, Steve. I mean,
boy, they are. He is still chanting at him. So here we go, 3rd down and about 8. Mountain Ridge in the shotgun. There's a quick pass intended, it looked like, for Jordan Day, and just a little bit of confusion. So now it'll be 4th down on that incompletion.
Something that I'm noticing now. I mean, it seems like Aiden Hellman's getting uncomfortable in the pocket. He's just seen 3 running plays get blown up in the backfield. And so I think subconsciously he's thinking, I can't hold on to this for 3 seconds. I only have 2.5. And so he's rushing his throws a little bit. And right now we have a little bit of a momentum swing in favor of Wasatch. I mean,
fantastic kick.
Punt.
Oh, and a bounce. Luckily, almost took a Mountain Ridge bounce. What was that, the 2-yard line?
That is a 60-plus yard punt.
In the air, yes.
In the air. I mean, that is a terrific punt. Just perfect spiral on that thing. Looked like a Hail Mary. But, I mean, like I was saying, Wasatch's defense is what's now giving them just a titch of momentum boost. And, I mean, every part of this game gives you a little matter because this cornerback is playing too close and is going to get called for pass interference.
Although, at this point, it's looking like, so pass interference on the defense is the official call, and it will go from the line of scrimmage. And that's 10 yards, so it'll be an automatic first down. And, of course, in high school, they don't do
the spot
on the location of where the infraction was. They only do it from the line of scrimmage. So otherwise, Wasatch right now would be on the Mountain Ridge 40-yard line.
Yeah.
But instead, Wasatch will take over 1st and 10 on their own 43-yard line.
Yeah.
Still a little confusion, it looks like, after that play. It looks like Coach Mayfu wanting a little explanation of that. It almost looked like they were going to overturn that, didn't it?
Oh.
And that's off the helmet, and that will be a interception for Mountain Ridge. And there is a flag on the play for Mountain Ridge, for Mountain Ridge, Mason Walker with that interception. The ball went right off the helmet of the Wasatch receiver. So even though there was a flag, I believe that whatever the flag was will be after the interception.
I believe they're going to call a block in the back here. And since it happened after the interception and happened during the return, I can't imagine that they would overturn an interception. It looks like they're just going to set them back from where they intercepted the ball.
So Mountain Ridge, after the interception, of course, the ball went right off the helmet of the Wasatch receiver and popped in the air at least 20 feet. And it was just an easy interception that time.
They're calling this a personal foul on number 33 of Mountain Ridge.
Ben Wempe?
Yep.
And so
that must have been a block in the back or a chop block.
Yeah, after, like you said, after the interception. So Mountain Ridge will take over now. Couple of turnovers now for each team. Here's a big pass play down. The ball looking toward number 9, Jordan Day. Day was covered well, but had the inside on the pass. And just another yard shorter, and that would have been a completion. So 2nd down for Mountain Ridge. Again, well covered on that play. Jordan Day was covered. And looked like That was probably covered by Jaron Kalama. Kalama will come out, take a breather. 2nd and 10 for Mountain Ridge. This time a run play. And there's Uluave grinding.
Running right behind that massive offensive lineman he has, that left tackle. I mean, just running right behind him, just letting him cruise the way.
So Uluave kind of quiet at the end of that first quarter and the beginning of this quarter on the first possession. But that time, grinding about 7 yards. So it'll now be 3rd down and about, what would you say, about 4 yards for Mountain Ridge. Once again, another big play for Wasatch. If they could keep the momentum, there's Uluave. He is going to be hit and stuffed and held back. So 4th down for Mountain Ridge. Big decision here for Coach Mayfu. And I don't see a punting team coming out yet. Yep, there they come. So it will be a punt play.
Although you do have number 5, Uluave, sitting back to punt, and I don't think he's their designated punter. So, I mean, if you're Wasatch, keep your eyes out for him. It looks like there could be some deception on this play.
Was it Uluave that punted that last one so big?
I don't believe it was. I could be wrong on that, but if memory serves correctly, it was not Uluave.
Well,
although
we're not seeing on the roster, there's not an actual punter. It is. He's going to kick it. And this time, a wounded duck and caught by La'akalama. And he's got a little space on the outside, and he's still on his feet. That's the 40, 45, almost to the 50-yard line for La'akalama. Sorry. That is my mistake. That is Jaron Kalama. Thanks for that, pointing that out, Hiram.
I mean,
Jaron Kalama, that is what I'm guessing to be about a 24-yard run on the punt play.
Yeah, not
something about like that.
And I mean, if I was Coach Coburn, this might not be the smartest of plays, but I'd take Jaron Kalama out just for a
Give
little
him
bit.
A breather.
Let him rest. I mean, he's been playing both sides of the ball very well.
Pass play again for Wasatch. This time complete, and looked like that's a different response. Oh, no, that's once again Nalu Kitashima. Kitashima has at least 3 receptions now tonight. Wow. Not an official statistic, but Kitashima most definitely has contributed to the offense. Once again, Edwards back, slips out of the pocket, pass incomplete, and that possibly, no, the whistle's going to be blown. Yeah. If that was thrown behind the line of scrimmage, that would have been considered a fumble, at least in college. But
and here as well, I mean, if it was a backwards pass, it would have been considered a fumble. And it looked like from up here, it was at least straight on, if not a little bit of a forwards pass.
Yeah, from the point of where the quarterback is. And there's Cook, gets the first down, grinds about 10 yards. Chris Cook, definitely hasn't been quiet, but there's been more pass plays, it seems like, in the first half, and that most definitely caught the Mountain Ridge defense a little off guard.
Wasatch trying to get the playoff even before the chains are set, not quite getting there, the refs not allowing them.
Edwards steps back, avoids a tackle, the pass wide open.
He's open.
And that is touchdown, Wasatch, Nalu Kitashima.
I mean, great play there by Wasatch, extending their lead by 13 points, potentially soon to be 14, assuming that Ashton Southam kicks it through. Great play here by Wasatch, great offense. And I mean, it seems to me like Chris Carson is playing a very important role in this whole drive, because after losing what seemed to be almost an entire line of seniors last year, a large majority of those being seniors, it seems like they're relying more on Chris Carson to block for Darius Edwards back in that backfield, to patch up wherever there's a hole. And so that's why you haven't seen him running much. But, yeah, it's working.
You know, that Edwards on that play, we don't have, unfortunately, the instant replay going, but just in review, what you were just saying, he did that avoiding the tackles, got out of the pocket. But I thought one little pump fake is what held the defender.
Yeah.
I think could be what happened there, and that's why Kitashima was so wide open. and then Edwards just had to somehow loft it and lay it in his hands. So another big touchdown, 21-7. Wasatch working on all cylinders.
All right, Brett.
Here in this first
little pre-kickoff ritual. Who do you think is going to get the tackle on this kickoff?
All right, so let's go ahead and do it. We've got players. I have seen Peter Muselar. I've seen him very active.
I'm calling number 10, Ben Wright, is going to get some cleanup crew duty, get a tackle.
Muselar going down. Oh. And it looks like it was
number
Kona Kahai. Kona Kahai. Fantastic open field tackle there. And so that's going to keep Mountain Ridge back.
At about the 15-yard line.
Fantastic coverage there. That's great special teams play. We're going to hopefully ask Coach Coburn about that here. This game has had some special team interesting plays for sure.
And, I mean, now a 14-point lead for Wasatch, just trying to keep that here. Their defense is hopefully going to reward the offense for that play that they just made. Let's see how it shapes up.
5:54 left here in the first half. Wasatch with a 21-7 lead. Mountain Ridge taking over, and there's Uluave finding a big hole, and there he goes again. Uluave looks like about a 12-yard run. That's going to be a first down.
Stopped by Dylan Dixon there.
Uluave just looks like a college player. I mean, he is big. And the bad news for Region 3, which is Mountain Ridge, the bad news for Uluave is only a junior.
Oh.
So here's a pass play. This time it's going to be over there, over the top and complete and brought down. The pass play complete to Jordan Day. And that's another big gain for Mountain Ridge. In fact, that's the biggest game of the night besides the called back run from Uluave. That's a big play. That looks like overall 30-yard gain. Uluave
really impresses me about Uluave. I mean, he has been hit in the backfield time and time again, gotten stopped. Reality thing for Uluave. I mean, a good mental health or good mental headspace and continuing to do his thing and continuing to run the rock well.
Uluave with the ball again. This time he's coming around, another gain. This time about 7 or 8 yards. And
with the passing whatnot.
We'll hopefully maybe get some stats here at the halftime. But Uluave, even on that good run, it's still another Uluave, and is stopped once again. Almost like they were reading the playbook. Kona Kahai again with a huge stop.
Right now, Mountain Ridge finds themselves in that awkward zone that we were talking about earlier. Not quite far enough to punt, but also not quite close enough to kick. It looks like they're going to go
no
for
kicking team coming out. So here we go, 4th and 4. There was a yard loss on that play. And Mountain Ridge will run the clock out just a little bit.
3.5 minutes left here.
It will keep Mountain Ridge on their heels. Mountain Ridge, on the other hand, this is a big defensive play. Edwards scrambling, no good. A fantastic pursuance there by Mountain Ridge's number 53, Bryce Larson, had Edwards scared to death, seeing that big guy coming at him, and caused a bad pass. And so Wasatch will punt.
I mean, if you're Mountain Ridge, this is how you stay alive, right? Pesky defense, pesky offense. You got to take it where you can. And I mean, there we saw Wasatch take a deep shot trying to open up the middle, and Mountain Ridge did a good job of covering that and making sure that Wasatch couldn't get anything.
There's a wobbler kick. It's Wyatt Horrocks that was back for the punt return. That will roll out of bounds at about the 25-yard line. So that's where Mountain Ridge will take over.
A little bit of a high snap there from Wasatch, but Aiden Rouser able to jump, catch it, and get the punt off. We love to see it when they catch those, because if they don't, that creates a whole nother momentum shift.
That is exactly how you said that, is a momentum shift. 2:45 left in the first half. And here we go, Mountain Ridge taking over 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. Jared Helm, sorry, Aiden Helm, quarterback, back to pass, makes the pass completion to Jaron Dixon, about 5 yards. Or no, probably not that much, about 2 yards on the play. So it'll now be 2nd and 8 for Mountain Ridge. Mountain Ridge looks like they're going to be very content on just doing some small pass plays just to get a first down and get some momentum.
Yeah.
Once again, Helm back in the shotgun. Uluave not back, but Uluave running the pass play. Helm's going to keep it. He's going to run. Probably gets the first down. Helm takes the slide at around the 39, 38, and that is enough for a Mountain Ridge first down.
I mean, doesn't quite get down how you'd like to see him get down, but he slides, protects himself.
Huge rush here by Wasatch. Helm back, he gets the pass off, and it is going to be out of bounds. No good. Intended receiver Jordan Day. Day's had a pretty good game. Had a touchdown.
Day only with 2 receptions in this game. I mean...
Oh, Day, it wasn't Day with the touchdown, was it? That's right. Okay.
No, Day only with 2 touchdowns this game. I mean, you've seen Uluave really help on those unexpected, shall we say, not Uluave plays. As we know, I mean, a terrific passing. Here we see a penalty, but, I mean, Jordan Day is their leading receiver, and we've stuck La'a Kalama on him, right? A really good cornerback, only a sophomore. And here we've seen Jordan Day only get 2 receptions this game.
You know, he has been a target a lot, hasn't he? They have tried to find him. And Day, another big player, a senior, just, again, looks like a college player. He's tall. I think it lists him here at 6'4", great speed. And Mountain Ridge just wanting desperately to get clicking here.
Yeah, and I mean, something that you see, though, with Mountain Ridge, it's very much a persistent mindset. Even though they might get tackled in the backfield, even though that Jordan Day only has 2 receptions, even though this or even though that, they're still going to it because they know eventually it will start working. And there's this trust that the quarterback has as we see a penalty come in. I mean, it didn't look like that was intentional to take the helmet off.
Helms came off, yeah. Helm's helmet came off. And I think you're right, not intentional, but still has to be a penalty. If my understanding, though, is Helm has to come out of the game for 1 play.
I believe that is.
Unless it was maybe, I don't know. That'll be interesting to see. I'm not sure what the ruling will be on that. So that is called a personal foul face mask against Wasatch. It's going to be an automatic first down and 15 yards.
That looks like it'll get right to where they needed to get originally. That'll stick them at the 49-yard line, which is where the chains ended up. So.
Yeah, I thought really unfortunate tackle there.
Yeah.
Because it looked like the Wasatch defender was just defending well, but Helm quick, very quick, and was able to slide down and just lost his helmet. Yeah. So once again, first down, 1st and 10 for Mountain Ridge, and another meeting right at midfield with the umpires.
Coburn is out there giving a piece of his mind to I'm sure they all know each other by first name by this point, first name basis, whether they like it or not. But
well, I did volleyball, so and they didn't always like me too much, but
I mean, yeah, that's one of the things though. I feel like when you're coaching, you can't quite get too uncomfortable in your situation. You got to find parts that you can control and parts that you can almost, shall we say, feel comfortable doing, right?
Right.
Because not everything works when you're a coach. I mean, no. we've seen several plays that should have worked or should have gotten called back or whatnot that didn't, or did. And so if I'm Steve Coburn, I'm trying to settle in, do my best to do that. And calling somebody by their first name just might do that for me.
Absolute pandemonium here. At this point, the ball is deflected on that pass play. So what happened there before that play is, for some reason, the meeting of the umpires on the field, or the referees, most definitely there was some confusion on where the ball was supposed to be laid. I didn't notice how far they measured, but they measured an extra 5 yards.
Yeah, they measured out the 15 for the personal foul. And I believe that the confusion was they didn't realize that Mountain Ridge had gotten a loss on the previous play.
Okay.
And so I believe that they put it 15 yards forward from the sticks rather than the place marker. And so they said, oh, shoot, we only moved it 10 instead of the 15.
Well, on that play, sack, I don't know if you call that a sack. It looked like Helm was actually running, but it is a loss on the play, and that's Brecken Bowen. I got to say, Brecken has been a little quiet tonight. I think that the offensive line has really focused on Brecken Bowen. There's a fumble play, but it's picked up, and it's going to be another loss for Mountain Ridge. Yeah. So now it's going to be, I believe, 4th down and about 15 yards. We do have a player down on the field.
I mean,
for Mountain Ridge, but he's going to get up. And that is for Mountain Ridge, number 38, Samisi Kinikini.
Yeah.
And he's limping off the field. That's not a good sign for Mountain Ridge.
There we saw, though, I mean, with that confusion, we saw a very fast pass from Mountain Ridge, not quite over the line, so it got tipped. Luckily not intercepted for Mountain Ridge, though. And then you saw the next play, Brecken Bowen taking those yards back from the referee and saying, hey, that's where the ball is supposed to be, guys. Let's keep it there. And, I mean, really, this Wasatch defense has stood out. It's not really anything super flashy. One interception on the night from Wa'a Kalama. But, I mean, really, they've just done a really good job of shutting down Uluave. I mean, they've given up a couple big plays to him, but for the most part, I feel like...
Shut everybody else down.
Exactly. And, I mean, you got to minimize your damage. But if Uluave was on tonight, I mean...
Yeah.
If this is an off night for Uluave and he has over 100 yards before half, I cannot imagine what it would be like if Uluave was on.
I'm not sure that ball was deflected. There was a great pass rush, but it's most definitely a Mountain Ridge bounce.
Yeah.
And Wasatch will take over right about the 20-yard line. Jaron Kalama was back for that kick, but the pass rush, it looked like, made Uluave have to rush his kick just a little bit. And again, whether it was deflected or just rushed, the kick not near as good as his 60-yarder back earlier in the quarter.
And I mean, something though that you see with Mountain Ridge, the benefit of having somebody like Uluave back there to be able to kick is any time that you need it. If this game gets close, they can reasonably pull off a fake punt with Uluave because we know that that guy is a star athlete. I mean, it's not that hard to pull off when you have
Edwards
Uluave.
back. He's hit on the play.
It looked like he was hit as his arm was coming forward.
Right,
so
as he
couldn't
was
get
throwing.
that momentum quite there.
You talk about these great players. I mean, we're looking tonight at several college, not just potential players, they are college signees. We know Jaron Kalama, of course, signed to play at Brigham Young. We're going to find out just a little bit of information about some of the players at Mountain Ridge. We didn't get much of a chance to talk. We got a chance to talk with Coach before the game and Mayfu before the game, but didn't have quite enough time to talk as much as we wanted to. There's a complete pass once again to Josh Sanders. Sanders is brought out of bounds. We learned a lot talking about good players. Josh Sanders had a fantastic first couple of games, a great game against Park City. It shows only 2 catches as a receiver, but they were big yardage. And then, of course, he had 3 outstanding defensive plays, including one toward the end of the game. Almost looked like an offsides there. Edwards throwing, waiting, catch made by Jaron Kalama. That's going to be a gain of about 7 yards on that play. You can see the Mountain Ridge players hurrying back quickly because they know it's like they're expending so much energy. Edwards this time throws, and incomplete to La'a Kalama. That's going to stop the clock. 34 seconds left. Wasatch most definitely has some yards to go. They are at their own 38-yard line. Even to get Ashton South and within some range, they're going to have to still gain about 30 more yards at least. There's an incomplete pass, as well as Sanders' play. That's the second ball. Kind of looks like it's been almost in his hands. Never an easy catch.
No.
But, and I think he looks frustrated, like he should have had that one. But so it's going to be 4th down. Wasatch is going to punt. And definitely Here, an important special teams play. 30 seconds left. As you mentioned, the snap, the last punt, almost in the same location, almost sailed over his head.
Yeah.
And so here we go. The punt on 4th to try to drive Mountain Ridge back as far as possible. Again, not a great snap. A low rider punt is going to get to the kick to the receiver quickly.
Oh my goodness. Peter Muselaar with some terrific speed.
Absolutely lightning. I believe that was Uluave that got the punt return. And it was number 6. Okay, that would be Xander Herrera. Thank you. Oh, 24? Oh, anyway, I thought for sure it was a one-digit number. Anyway, I trust you more than me. The kick was so low, it got to him before any defenders got to him, but still, great play by Muselaar. And you got to call that a pretty important play here at the end of this first half. So Helm back to throw, lots of rush, and that's going to be incomplete.
And I mean, there we see him looking again to Jordan Day. You can tell that they're just waiting for it to get started. Just waiting, just trying again. Because, I mean, we know that Jordan Day is a great receiver. I mean, he has over 100 yards per game averaging. 229 yards on the season, if I'm not mistaken, which is quite a bit. 228 going up.
Average of 19 yards a play.
The guy's a stud, right?
Here's Helm scrambling again. This time it is complete to Day.
Yeah.
And that's going to get them a first down.
If you're Mountain Ridge, though, you got to love that play because that gets Jordan Day going just a little bit, and we're going to see a deep pass here. Only 7 seconds left on the clock. You can't do anything too special, you know? And, with about 60 yards to go, they might just be calling off timeout. Yeah. So, with 60 yards to go, it's reasonable to say that they can get to the end zone within 7 seconds. That's all they have, right?
Well, with the firepower they have, they most.
And you got to say, Jordan Day, that's who I'm going to. If I'm Mountain Ridge, I trust Jordan Day more than anybody else on that field. And it looks like Mountain Ridge's quarterback also Helm trusts Day more than anybody. They have some great chemistry, and they're just waiting to get it started. And if I'm Mountain Ridge, that's where I want to go. The downside is, if you catch that touchdown, you go into halftime with Jordan Day on fire, Aiden Helm on fire, a 7-point deficit, scoring at half. If you don't, you're going to have a worse situation than what you had right now, which isn't a bad situation, but it can always get worse. And so that's the risk that you're running if you're going to Jordan Day.
So here we go, what looks potentially to be the last play of the first half. Ball is thrown. Day is not seeing it, and that will be an interception. So, and that is La'akalama. So we'll end on an interception for Wasatch. They won't have possession. In fact, Mountain Ridge will receive in the second half, but still, that's going to go in the statistics.
2 interceptions for La'akalama. And right now, if I had to give out nominations for player of the game, offensive and defensive, I think offensive is a no-brainer. With over 100 yards this game, you have to go with Uluave.
Yep.
Even though that Mountain Ridge is losing, it is an undeniable fact that Uluave is still playing really good football. And I don't even think this is I would say it's probably about 50% of what he can do. I think this guy's a stud. And I think that if you're Mountain Ridge, you got to keep feeding him.
Yep. Hopefully keep him healthy and keep him but he really is. He's like Jaron Kalama, both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
And you can see, we're watching Uluave walking off the field. He's a big kid. But I'm telling you, he looks a little tired.
And as far as defensive players of the game, I'm probably going to say that you get Caden Luke for Wasatch. He had a really great first quarter.
Yeah.
Helping, trying to get Wasatch to minimize the lead. What about you? You got anybody else?
So I would think, for me, obviously Darius Edwards.
Yeah.
He's used 4 or 5 different receivers. He's got to have 150 yards passing or more.
Sure.
Well, we're going to watch here. We've got the cheerleaders, Wasatch. We're going to let you watch them. And here in a little bit, we'll come back. Hiram Gailey, I'm Brent Martindale. Thanks for joining us on Sting TV. And go ahead and enjoy Wasatch cheerleaders. We'll be right back. And welcome back, everybody, to Sting TV. Thank you so much for joining us. It is so fabulous here tonight. Beautiful night. Weather is wonderful. And Wasatch is up 21-7 over 6A Mountain Ridge. And we're here with Hiram Gailey and Corey Lang. And Hiram and Corey, great game tonight. What are some things that stick out to you besides the score? Okay, I'm putting you on the spot here. Besides the score, what's sticking out to you right now at the moment with either team or both?
I mean, there's a saying that's pretty commonly used. It's big-time players make big-time plays, right? I mean, here you've seen some big-time players make some big-time plays, shifting the momentum of the game on its head within seconds. I mean, you saw Wasatch go up 7-0. I mean, it was like, shoot, Wasatch, up first. And then all of a sudden you say Uluave just pull a pass route off of a wheel route, just all the way to the end zone. I mean, like a 60-plus yard route.
Made it look like a post play. It
look
amazing.
Easy. And I mean, all of a sudden, momentum's back, right? Wasatch can't get their next play. Mountain Ridge driving, looks like they're going to score, and then you see Kalama pick it off at a crucial time, and Wasatch drives and scores. I mean, it's a game of momentum above anything else, and the team with the most momentum and the most skill is going to win every time. And so with this, I mean, these big-time players are stepping up and making big-time plays.
Well, I totally agree. My pick is, at this point, is the Wasatch defense. So, it's always shows. Defense never shows on the scoreboard. But clearly, you can see on the scoreboard, this is an explosive Mountain Ridge team, and Wasatch held them to 7 points. Now, the drawback of that is it's defense that can sometimes tire first.
Yeah.
And, even though the score shows 21-7, I would say it would be almost equal amount of time that the teams had the ball in possession. So You're talking about, as aggressive as the defense has been, there's potential. Like you just said, players like Uluave running the ball, that could really grind on a defense over time. So it's as much as defense, and again, that was Coach Coburn talking about the game last week. That was his player of the game, he called it, was the defense. And as much as it is, boy, this second half has got to be the same, because this is an explosive, as you already said, explosive Mountain Ridge offense.
Speaking of explosives, there's a birthday I'd like to announce. My little cousin Virginia, it's her 6th birthday. Happy birthday to her. But, I mean, really.
Nice.
Yeah, gotta love it. No, I mean, I am very impressed, though, by both teams here, because we've seen Mountain Ridge, and, I mean, there's a saying by a good old man named Albert Einstein, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, right? And you almost want to say that's Mountain Ridge, but there's a part of me that's saying Mountain Ridge isn't doing the same thing over and over again. And one of these plays, it's going to catch Wasatch off guard, and they're going to score. You saw it with the wheel route with Uluave. I mean, you don't expect him to catch the ball. He's a really good running back, and you wouldn't expect him to have that pass-catching ability. All of a sudden, he shows it, and they're like, shoot, like, what do we do now, right?
Amazing, yeah.
If I have a prediction, I'm going to say that Jordan Day is going to surprise us in this second half. And I think that he's going to have a really good second half after getting shut down for the first for only 3 receptions.
And that wouldn't surprise me. So you say he'll surprise you, but it wouldn't surprise me because he is a great athlete. We were talking earlier about potential college players. We already know Jaron Kalama signed at BYU. Potential several players on that Mountain Ridge team are potential. So what we have to look at is most of those players on Mountain Ridge, they do have seniors. But you're talking about a school that has only been open for 3 years. So I'm looking at their roster. There is an occasional 2022 graduate senior, but there are many 23s and 24s dotted on this list. So you're talking about a program that's still kind of young.
Yeah.
And again, not even young not necessarily even young that way, but you're also looking at a brand spanking new 6A team and playing in a really tough region. So with that in mind, Hiram, thanks for your thoughts on that. We had a great halftime show, great dancers, a lot of going on, and we are ready for what we're hoping is another explosive second half. And here we go. So Mountain Ridge will receive and have the first possession of the game, of the second half. And here we go.
Predictions. I'm going with number 4 for Wasatch. Oh, never mind. That is quite the kick.
Yep, that's
Aiden Rouser
showing off his leg right there.
Kick ability.
So.
Why doesn't he kick field goals?
That's what that looked like right there, didn't it? Almost at Corey Lang saying, well, he's not kicking field goal. It looked like a field goal. It was almost that far.
I mean, terrific player through and through. Gotta love Aiden Rouser's leg. And Aiden Rouser as a person, I mean, he's a funny kid. He makes me laugh.
All right, well, here we go. Mountain Ridge starting off the second half. And there is a very important 2 quarters to play here. So Mountain Ridge starting off, giving the ball to their tank. Uluave carries 3 players about 4 yards on his back and sets up a decent second down play.
And
for Mountain Ridge.
Jaron Kalama's hand is not moving at the moment. His right hand is not moving. Yeah, it could potentially be a problem. We'll see what's going on.
You're seeing him on the sideline?
Oh, yeah. Jaron Kalama's hand is, his right hand is currently not moving at the moment.
Uh-oh. So he is injured. That's a big point there we'll have to keep an eye on. So another running play there for Mountain Ridge. This time maybe a yard. So you've got 3rd and about 7 for Mountain Ridge on this first drive of the second half.
Yeah, and I mean, you hate to see any player injured, but especially Jaron Kalama sitting there on the sideline. I mean, he's a leader on and off the field and truly a great player on the field. I mean, great guy through and through, so you don't want to see him hurt. Here we see a pass at the edge.
Pass incomplete there. Mountain Ridge, the intended receiver to who Hiram said would be the player of the second half for Mountain Ridge. They were trying to get it to Jordan Day, and that pass incomplete. So 4 and out for Mountain Ridge. They will punt. Uluave, who is probably also the team trainer, who knows, he does everything for Mountain Ridge. He is back to punt and gets this one off kind of quick again. Another big rush, and this is going to be picked up by La'akalama, and he gains maybe about 5, but it gets decent field position for Wasatch right about the 50-yard line. And all eyes right now on the bench. Jaron Kalama is on the bench, and as you mentioned, Hiram, he looks in pain.
Yeah,
he is. Most definitely not going to be playing this series, it looks like. So, and as you mentioned, his right hand, is that what you were kind of saying? Looks like it's his hand.
To the best of my knowledge, was not moving as he came off the field. That's a scary moment for him. I mean, the hand is an important part, right?
Edwards makes the pass. It looks like it might have been complete, but the refs are going to call it incomplete. Intended receiver there looks like La'akalama. So 2nd down and 10 for Wasatch. Just starting the second half here, 11 minutes still remaining. This is a running play. Cook gets the opportunity, swings around, probably gets maybe 4 or 5 yards.
Gets a nice stiff arm there, and now we see a Mountain Ridge player down.
Because of the passing scheme tonight, Chris Cook hasn't had too many carries.
No.
He has had many great plays where he was blocking. Fantastic. That one particular play on the touchdown, he was one of the blockers that kept Darius Edwards a little more time. So backfield is Chris Cook. He's going to get the ball again This time grinds about another 3 or 4 yards. Another late flag.
I mean, going back to Jaron Kalama, something that you have to commend for Jaron Kalama is the IQ that he just showed on that play. I mean, if he sits on the field and he's injured, that is essentially a timeout for Mountain Ridge to collect their offense, to get a third down conversion, and instead, Jaron Kalama says, you know, I'm gonna take the 25 yards of pain right here, walk a maybe potentially broken hand, over to my bench. That way, they don't get that free timeout.
Right. So on that play for Wasatch, an unfortunate holding play that's going to bring them back. It's now going to be 3rd down and 11 instead of being maybe only 3rd down and 1. And it looks like there's an offense. It looks. I thought maybe offense made them jump.
Offense, I believe, did make them jump, and that right there is yet another benefit of this really fast-paced offense. But it looks like they're pushing them back.
Yeah, kind of the one referee rolled his hands, so that would be an illegal procedure.
Looks like they are indeed pushing it back. Something that Wasatch used quite a bit last year, though, was in a situation like this that you don't quite want to be in. They would do a nice little quick snap, or almost snap, and an on-to pump, shall we say.
Got to say, Mountain Ridge hasn't fallen for it.
No.
It has put them off balance and on their heels a little bit, maybe. And there's a big rush. Oh, there's a completion, and it's going to be a 1st down and more. That is a big 4th down play. Oh, sorry, 3rd down play. That completion is to
by Wasatch, though.
Yes, Nalu Kitashima again coming up big. At least 3 different times in the first half came up big. So 1st and 10 for Wasatch. All of a sudden they're at the 20-yard line. Edwards avoids tackles left and right, comes out of the pocket, finally brought down. It looks like it still will be a loss on the play. May have gotten to the line.
Let's check out that replay of that great call by Wasatch.
Oh, yeah, that's the pass play to Nikishima, yep. Edwards on this play, back live, makes the pass completion to Josh Sanders. Sanders was brought down. That was a great replay. That looks good. Sanders looks like he might have gotten the 1st down. So, 1st and 10. Actually, 1st and goal now for Wasatch. It'll be 1st down on their on the Mountain Ridge 9-yard line. Edwards again throws, completion to Sanders. This time no yardage. Sanders is brought down quickly. And just an update on Jaron Kalama. He is still on the bench being looked at by the trainers and still sitting there.
It doesn't look like he's in as much pain, though, and I feel like if his arm was broken, they'd probably have it casted right now. It looks like he's actually moving his left hand as well. It might have just been a dislocation, but
Edwards is brought down on that play. That'll be a loss of a couple of yards. Maybe got back to the line of scrimmage. At this point, it is 3rd and goal. Another quick offense, no huddle offense. Mountain Ridge looking far more ready this time, however.
Look for a slant to La'a Kalama, number 7. Top of that screen.
Edwards steps back, comes out of the pocket, but he is brought down. Another great big, and that's got to be a good sign for Mountain Ridge right now. Is their defensive line is starting to handle just a little bit the offensive line of Wasatch. So you take away the 30-yard pass completion for Josh Sanders, and Mountain Ridge wins that series, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So they held Wasatch. They're going to be able to, at this point, still attempt a field goal. So this will be Ashton Southam back. Southam has been near perfect on extra points. This one would be approximately a 30-yarder, and it looks plenty long, and it is good.
And I mean, like we've said all game, it's a game of momentum, right?
Yes.
And so you don't want to get those 3 points. You never, ever want to settle for 3 when you know you could get 7. But, I mean, Wasatch feeling pretty comfortable now with a 17-point lead. I mean, They're sitting pretty.
What's Mountain Ridge feeling like after that series?
You know, it's got to be a good feeling. Even though they just got 3 points, I mean, they stopped Wasatch from getting an additional 4, right?
Exactly.
And I feel like a touchdown right there is like a nail in the coffin almost. Not quite.
Not quite. Lots of time, but still.
We're in the third quarter, you know, and losing by 21 is a lot different than losing by 17, right? Could have been a 4-possession game. Now it's a 3-possession game. There's a massive difference in those two.
Rouser will kick off. Back to receive for Mountain Ridge is Chase Liato. And it won't matter because that ball's out of the end zone.
Aiden Rouser says, you like that kick? I'll show you one better. How about a 60, 65-yard airtime? I like that.
Most definitely some leg in that kick. So Mountain Ridge will take over once again, just like they did at the first possession of this second half. They'll take over at the 20-yard line.
Looking at Jaron Kalama, he appears to be fine, still talking to the trainer, but up and on the sideline now. Looks like there's a little bit of tape on his right hand, but nothing all too serious. I might have been wrong with the he can't move his right hand. He is shaking it a little bit, but...
Mountain Ridge with a run play there. And brought down, maybe a yard gained. Mountain Ridge 2nd and 10. Actually, it looked like it might have brought down a loss of a yard on that play. So it'll be 2nd and 11. I'm really just shocked we haven't seen Uluave just take the ball and run a bunch of times.
Yeah.
At this point. But he's not even back. Here's Helm being chased, almost tackled, but he's going to get the pass off to an open receiver. That receiver, Simisi Kinikini, wide open, but the pass does go out of bounds.
I believe they might be resting Uluave, trying to get him as fresh as possibly can. That way, when they really, really need him, they can use him as a workhorse.
Because I don't see him on the field. He's not on the field for the offense at the moment for Mountain Ridge. So you're talking about both teams without some of their star players on the field. But both teams most certainly well-rounded with many great players. So here's 3rd down and 11 now for Mountain Ridge. Mountain Ridge desperately needing a first down here to keep their momentum in this game. 7:15 left in the third quarter. Helm is back, but he's going to run, scramble, gets enough for the first down. Brought down kind of hard there.
It looks like he was going for a slide, but he couldn't quite get it off because there was somebody right at his feet, so he kind of had to almost trip.
Josh Sanders right in his face. So first down. Helm showing what he was last week when he was nominated for Player of the Week in the state of Utah with a big, huge win over Olympus. So 1st and 10. Uluave on the field and gets the ball immediately. He is swarmed. Looks like he'll get at least 3 yards maybe with a...
I mean, giving Uluave some credit, though, there's at least 3 people trying to bring him down.
Yes, yeah.
That's what it took. And it looks like...
I hope that's...
it looks like that's Uluave
on the ground.
Down on the ground right there.
That's what... That would be a terrible, terrible loss. Any player would be, but that would be a terrible offensive and defensive loss for Mountain Ridge. Well, while we're stopped here, let's talk just a little bit about upcoming. It's still only the third quarter here, but let's go ahead and look ahead just a little bit. Wasatch this week, their first home game.
Uluave is up and off the field.
Okay, that's a good sign.
Lasting injuries.
Good sign. And calling the teams back on. But we mentioned this is the first of 2 6A battles for Wasatch. Coach Coburn assigning up a very, very difficult first half preseason. So Mountain Ridge this week, next week is Mighty Pleasant Grove.
And I mean, if you recall, Wasatch was undefeated last year until they played Pleasant Grove, to which they fell at an away game. by, I believe, like
a decent game. Yes.
Yeah, I think it was like 14-3 or something like that was the end score, and so
Helm's going to do the quarterback draw. He's going to score. He's going to get a first down.
Helm is surprisingly quick. I mean, he hasn't really ran all game, and now we're seeing him run, and he's surprisingly fast. I mean, it feels like Wasatch is getting caught off guard. They're doing a really good job of stopping the run game, but they're not really accounting for the quarterback running the ball, and right now, Mountain Ridge is exploiting that.
Well, and like you mentioned, and looks like Uluave back on the field, like you mentioned, quick, very quick. No, I don't see any rushing statistics for Helm. Oh my heavens, that is Uluave is stuck that time by the Wasatch defense. That's number 5
right there. I mean, Wasatch all over that.
That's Kona Kahai again. You have to start thinking Kona Kahai is becoming near defensive player of the game for Wasatch. He's had at least 3 sacks, I believe, at that time. I don't know if you'd call that a sack. That was just a early plunge on a huge Uluave running back. So that is a loss of yards. Here's another
big blitz picked up by Uluave. Terrific play, and there's Day.
There's Day, just gets overthrown. That is very difficult for Mountain Ridge. He was open again, had the inside on the defender, and just had to be unfortunately, just a little over his head.
I really love the trust shown here by Wasatch, though. I mean, Peter Muslar is not their number 1 cornerback. He's a good cornerback, but he's not their number 1, right?
He's kind of their...
We've seen La'a all over Jordan Day all game, right? And then we saw La'a getting a break from Jordan Day and Peter Muslar switching on, and the trust shown there by the coaching staff really speaks as a testament to how much they believe in this team.
It'll be 3rd and long, 3rd and 15. Helm with lots of time to pass. That pass is broken up by La'a Kalama, and it will be 4th down. And it looks like Mountain Ridge will punt. And it was right about here, that one series that Uluave punted the ball, what Hiram thought was at least 60 yards in the air, and I thought so too. And it landed right at the 2-yard line and bounced straight up. Almost a perfect bounce.
Oh,
there's another decent kick.
What a
And La'a is going to catch it, and he's going to come around. He is finally caught and brought down.
I mean, that ball sailed from the 30-yard line to the 15-yard line. And I mean,
yeah, that's another good kick. A little low, so it gave La'a Kalama just a little more time to be able to get a run back.
I mean, still though, that's a 55-yard punt in the air. I mean, that is truly some terrific stuff.
Wasatch takes over at about their own 22-yard line, 1st and 10, with a big lead here in the 3rd quarter, 24-7. There's another run. This is Chris Cook. Chris Cook has already, in my unofficial stats, has already run the ball more in this half, in this quarter, in the first 5 minutes than in the entire first half.
And I mean, this is where you start to see Chris Cook as a workhorse. I mean, like I said, Chris Cook does his job and does his job well every single time he touches the ball or doesn't even touch the ball.
Right, exactly. That time they were waiting for Cook. 4 guys caught him and brought him down. Not a loss of yards, but right at the line of scrimmage. So it'll be 2nd and 10. Once again, Cook behind Edwards. Edwards is going to throw this time. They're coming at him from both sides. Drops into the pocket. Around. The pass is complete to La'a Kalama. And that will be another Wasatch first down.
I mean, that's a really good job. I mean, you can give credit to La'a, you can give credit to Darius Edwards, but I would look at Chris Carson, who's one of the main reasons that play happened. Chris Carson picked up the main person trailing Darius Edwards in order to give him some more time to throw.
And that's a fumble. Looks like Chris Cook is going to land on it, but that's going to bring them back, way back to their own 28-yard line. So that's going to be a loss of 15 yards on the broken play there. Not sure if that was meant to be kind of a lateral or if it was just
I believe
dropped.
Adarius Edwards was just pulling back for the ball,
Gotcha.
and the pressure was too tight, and so somebody hit that ball. I don't know who it was. It could have even potentially been a Wasatch lineman driven into Adarius Edwards.
So it'll be second down and about 23 yards. The pass is going to be thrown out to Chris Cook. He's going to avoid 2 tackles, hits a third one, and almost goes out of bounds.
Good job by Chris Cook there to turn that potentially negative play into a positive play. And I mean, a negative play at that distance is a death statement, right? I mean,
well, about a 4-yard pass, but then about a 15, 18-yard run.
Yeah.
Still doesn't get them to the original line of scrimmage, so it'll be 3rd and 13. The pass down the middle meant for Kitashima, I believe, is incomplete, and it will be 4th down.
And although we don't see Wasatch pick up the first down, we do see Jaron Kalama back in that lineup. Some very good news for Wasatch.
Was he in there on that play?
Yes.
All right.
Was.
Okay, there you go.
And some very good news for Wasatch and the Kalamas.
Aiden Rouser back to punt. This time back to receive punt for Mountain Ridge is Xander Herrera. Xander picks up the ball after it bounces a couple times, actually gains 5 yards.
Yeah.
Surrounded by Wasatch defenders.
And I mean, that was the best snap that I've seen on one of those punts, and I'm really happy about it too, because it looks like that long snapper is just settling in, getting his feet under him. That's good for everybody.
This will be Mountain Ridge's best field position here in the second half. Most certainly. They will start at their own 41. And maybe not by much, but at least it's a little better than they've had. So 2:20 left in the third quarter. Mountain Ridge down 7-24. They need some offense here, and they give it to their big man. No, that's not Uluave, but instead that is Samisi Kinikini.
It almost looks like they're using Uluave as almost a specialist type back,
maybe,
where they bring him in on a third down or a potential passing, or where they need an extra beefing block, and then they bring Kinikini in when they're just running the ball or going to do something like that.
This is going to be a rush, and there's a big loss for tackle.
That's Josh Sanders right
Sanders
there.
Again, fabulous play there. Because that looked like it was developing to be actually a pretty good offensive play, but Sanders came out of nowhere.
Made a great open field tackle. And I mean, if you look at who's on the field right now for Wasatch, you don't see Jaron Kalama. And I believe they're just giving Jaron Kalama some rest and trying to get into place of offense. Prioritize his skill set and his
blitz
health.
On the third down. Helm once again is going to get a scramble play, first down, depending on where they put that ball. And it does look like it. Once again, Helm has kept this Mountain Ridge offense going. 2 different 3rd and 11s, Hiram. That's 2 3rd and 11 scramble plays that he's been able to convert to a first down.
And looking at how Helm plays, I mean, he's not super comfortable throwing on the run, but he's very comfortable running. And so if you're Wasatch, you got to make sure that you block his running options.
Very good observation. He seems like he does like to run just a little bit more, and yet it looks like would you say the Wasatch defense is just making him scramble enough that just making him a little uncomfortable?
I think the Wasatch defense is making him scramble enough, but I think that what they're doing more than anything is they're defending the run so well that it's almost getting inside of Helm's head. Like,
gotcha.
Hey, I only have 3 seconds, where opposed to other teams, he might have 5 or even 6 seconds in that pocket.
After the incomplete pass.
I only have 3.
Helm is going to go big. He's got Day open, but once again, looked like it was overthrown. I'm not sure Day actually came back too soon for that one.
Yeah, I mean, looking at Jordan Day, he had Josh Sanders beat in coverage. He had him almost by a yard, but I think he stopped a little too soon on that, trying to go up for that jump ball, and as a result, the ball went probably about 3 inches over his
head. Yeah,
just enough to the point where it can't be caught. And that's frustrating.
3rd and 10. Helm back again in the shotgun. Look for him to try to find Day once again. He's looking at him right now at that point. There he finds him, Day. And not a referee anywhere to see that ball most definitely looked like it was on the ground. But
they're calling it.
They're going to call it a catch.
And that'll bring up.
And it was a great athletic play by Day to get under that. He's
4th and 2.
Yeah, so not quite to the first down. It will be 4th down. And Mountain Ridge, I would say at this point, is going to want to take the risk on the 4th down play, especially with the way Helm is able to scramble. But the time is going to run out here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah.
And the score remains the same. So not a score from either team in the 3rd quarter, 24-7.
This right here, though.
Oh, sorry, there was a field goal. The field goal in the 3rd quarter, right?
Yeah.
Am I thinking back wrong?
No, you're correct.
It's a Friday. I'm losing my mind, so.
I mean, looking at it, though, this right here is looking to be a rather interesting game. We have still 12 minutes left to play and only a 17-point deficit. Yeah, let's look at some replays.
The replay machine is working. There's the big play. That's the one by Cook, is that right?
Yeah, Chris Cook. I mean, really a workload back.
Here's Edwards falling back, avoiding the tackle. And this is, oh, yes, that's right. That's the one he found.
La'a Kalama. I mean, a really standout player, and he's only a sophomore.
Of all the things that I'm impressed with Darius Edwards is he is cool as ice. He runs back when he is avoiding and coming out of the pocket. He is he's always balanced. He's always he's always able to make a decent throw. And I would imagine that at this age, that's going to be a big thing. Here's 4th and 2, a blitz. There goes Helm. He's going to scramble around. He gets hit, but he lunges past and once again makes the 1st down.
I mean, like you're saying, though, going back to Edwards, he is a very cool personality in the sense that when he's feeling that rush, he doesn't try to rush his throws, but his clock speeds up. He's like, all right, instead of having those 3 seconds, I only have 1 now. And he's very good at making those reads. And more than anything, I like how fast his eyes bounce around. Because if you even look at his helmet, it's just making these little micro rotations every like half a second looking at his players.
1st and 10 for Mountain Ridge.
That's a backwards pass.
That is actually a legal play. And that is going to score a touchdown. That is a pass that is from where the quarterback is standing through behind his location. It actually bounced on the ground. The Wasatch defense completely stopped. And that was Day wide open.
Yeah.
The pass came, and would you call that what? Is that a pass play flea flicker? I don't know. What would you call that?
I would call that
Here's the replay.
Needed momentum building pass at the game. We'll watch this replay right after the kick. That kick is up and good.
Good.
Let's watch this replay again.
So once again, the key is the quarterback has to throw from behind where he's standing. And then, who was that threw the second pass? Who was that? I didn't notice the number. It wasn't Uluave, was it?
I believe it was Uluave.
Let's watch one more time. So here you have the running back. You can see him in motion to the left. The ball hits the ground. Uluave then grabs it. He almost gets sacked. But you can see at that point, Wasatch, only one player deciding to go down. They thought the play was dead.
Yeah. I mean, right there, though, you have this momentum shift yet again. I mean, truly, at this moment, Mountain Ridge just put their name like, hey, we are not done. The 4th quarter might have just started, but we can pull who knows what out of who knows where and still stay competitive in this thing. They're losing by 17. Now they're losing by 10. I mean, that's what you'd like to – that is what you need to see if you're Mountain Ridge's coach.
Well, after that trick play, we're going to call it a trick play, and they're going to be, at this point, always looking back at that, and that might make maybe we'll submit that to ESPN for a play of the top 10 play because that was brilliance. And like you said, it brings Mountain Ridge back in the game. The kickoff is going to get to La'akalema. Or is that Jaron?
That one is Jaron.
That's Jaron Kalama. Kalama scored. He's able to get about 15 yards on that play. Apparently his hand well enough.
Yeah.
And gets about 15, so gets Wasatch out to about the 23-yard line after starting almost on the goal line. So ended up a 23-yard run. So after the trick play, what do you say?
I say
At
if
this
you're
point,
Wasatch, go deep right off the bat.
Well, and what I'm going to think
at Sanders at the bottom of your screen, just go right to him.
Well, and what's also sticking out right now is that field goal is the difference. Right now, it's a 2-possession. Holy smokes. And just like that, interception, pick 6. And this game has gone completely upside down. Mountain Ridge back in the hunt.
Within, let's say, 30 seconds, this game has gone from a 17-point lead to now a 4, probably a 3-point lead very shortly here.
And there you can see on the replay, just a small breakdown in communication. That is Taylor Higham with the interception, pick 6.
I mean,
and
watch
just
the replay
like
again
that,
after the kick, but I mean, Taylor Higham really shows kind of how smart he is right there. Wasatch has run that play a couple times now, and Taylor Higham anticipated it, didn't fall for a Darius's eye fake, and said, I know exactly where you're going with this ball. I'm going to be right there when you throw it.
Well, you know, on the pump fake by Edwards looked like it was going to work because I believe it was Kalama that was at that point wide open. So, just like that, Mountain Ridge with this extra point, and it is good. Mountain Ridge scores 14 points in less than 30 seconds. And nothing turns a game around quite like that. So once again, here's the replay. Wasatch, Edwards falls back. It's a quick play, but it just looks like there's Edwards just didn't see him, I guess.
Yeah.
Just didn't see Higham, or not sure. But credit Mountain Ridge.
Got to give credit where credit is due. That was an excellent play by that Mountain Crest defense, and big-time players make big-time plays.
That's exactly right. That was your call earlier. So just like that, 24-21, the 17-point lead is now 3. And just like 30 seconds ago, Mountain Ridge will kick off. This time it's going to go into the end zone for a touchback. Oh my. So, Wasatch will take over. Still loads of time left in this game. 11:04 left here in the fourth quarter. Wasatch, I would say, Hiram, you'd have to say this is possibly the most important offensive possession of the game for Wasatch.
I mean,
at least at this stage.
If you're Wasatch, all of the momentum that you built up over these past 3 quarters is completely gone. You need to get it back.
Edwards in the shotgun. It's going to be a handoff to Cook. Cook is going to go ahead and score his kind of average 7 or 8 yards. That's going to get them,
only an average of 6 yards.
The quick no huddle.
That's 8 yards
immediately
there for Cook.
2nd and 2. Wasatch can really afford to take some extra time here, and that's an open pass, and it is going to be ruled a catch at the 48-yard line. First down. Who was the receiver on that play? Was that? Oh, yeah, right. Nalu Katashima. Katashima has turned into an offensive star here in the second half. That's going to be a sack, almost a fumble.
I am really impressed with how much Darius Edwards trusts his receivers. I mean, I saw it last year. we're seeing it again this year. He gives them 50-50 balls a lot.
Yes.
He loves to see his receivers shine, and he loves to see those 50-50 balls get caught in Wasatch hands, and very rarely do they end up in enemy hands.
That quarterback sack was a loss of 3 yards, and this handoff to Cook is also going to be possibly a loss. No, it looks like they're going to
forward momentum.
Give forward momentum. Well, it looks like they give him 3 yards. So it'll be 3rd down, back to the original line of scrimmage. 3rd and 10. And here we go. Darius Edwards back to pass. He's got Cook. Cook comes to the side. He's going to be met by third. Avoid 3 tackles, but he's going to be brought down short.
About 2 yards short. This is a very interesting play call. I mean, you have the opportunity.
Wasatch is going to go for it. Sorry to cut you off there, Garmin. It's going to be 4th and 3. They're going to give the ball to Cook. He's going to plow through, but he is not going to make it. He is stopped, and that will give Mountain Ridge possession at the Wasatch 45-yard line. Mountain Ridge clearly with momentum here in this game.
Yeah.
Looks like a Wasatch player down. And like you mentioned before, who is that? It looked like, I thought I saw number 3. That would be Jaron Kalama.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong on that. That's a cramp. And
I believe that's number 4.
Okay.
Which would make him.
That would be Blake Smith.
Blake Smith.
We'll see here in a minute. There is a referee timeout on the field. They can't even get him off the field with that. Terrible to have cramps like that. I don't know if
Cramps
you've ever had that,
are
but
no
it's
jokes. Oh, that was number 2, Josh Sanders.
Sanders, okay. Sanders suffering right there. He looks like he's in pain.
Yeah.
So, Mountain Ridge takes over on the Wasatch 40, almost the 46-yard line. And with the potential, if they score here, of course, we'll put them, would be potentially their first lead of the game, correct?
Yeah.
So, Helm back in the shotgun. Once again, Uluave not on the field. Helm is going to throw big. He's got a man open. That is caught.
That's Dave.
I believe by Wyatt Horrocks, number 8. Or is that Uluave? That's number 8, Wyatt Horrocks. And once again, momentum clearly on the Mountain Ridge offense. And they are going to do a no-huddle offense here. Referees are they had to slow him down even to move the chains.
I mean, that's number 9 Day. Like I said, I mean, he is having a field day right now, if you will. And I mean, he is really playing really well at the moment because, I mean,
the ball is given to Samisi Kini, who's going to get maybe a couple of yards. Mountain Ridge threatening here with 8:49 left here in the 4th quarter. Once again, Uluave nowhere to be seen. Almost wonder at this point if he's injured.
He did go down earlier this game, but he walked off of his own free will, so he might be. I'm not quite sure.
Helm again in the shotgun with Kini right next to him. He's going to keep it and run it himself. He's going to go all the way to the 10, to the 5, and he is in for the score. Touchdown, Mountain Ridge.
And just like that, this is the first lead of the game that Mountain Ridge has. And I mean, it's only going to be a 4-point lead if they get this field goal. But just like that, all of the momentum that Wasatch built up over those 3 quarters, all of the lead that they built up is gone. And it happened within 3 minutes. I mean, let's call it 4.
Yep, 21 points.
Yep.
If the Cook kick is good here, which it's up and good. Let's see that touchdown run by Helm. And it was nothing but a sweep. That is a quarterback sweep. He's running it to the left side. And absolute burners turn on after the 10-yard line. And no one, I don't know if he even had a hand touch him after about the 15-yard line of Wasatch. So, how things change. Wasatch now, after leading the entire game and at one point up 17 points, finds themselves down 28-24. 8:19 left in the game.
Yeah.
So, if you're Coach Coburn, what are you telling your team right now?
I'm telling them, hey guys, you are winning for a reason. At one point in this game, you were winning for a reason. Right? Go back to what you were doing. Keep a cool head. Trust your teammates. You will win this game.
So, the kick is up. On the kickoff, it looks like it's going to be in the end zone. It looked like Kalama really would have loved to have taken off and run that, but instead, Wasatch will take over at the 20-yard line.
I mean, you got to give Jaron Kalama credit, right? He's just preparing for college.
Yep.
It's like, if I'm running these back in college, I got to get those first quick 2 steps to get my momentum going the other way.
Jaron Kalama comes off the field for this series. Wasatch. And like we mentioned, that was an important series, that last one. So here we go, playing from behind for the first time tonight. Edwards back in the shotgun. He's going to step back and pass. Pass rush most definitely. And how we talked earlier about the offensive line for Wasatch, definitely tiring. Whether it's fatigue, whether it's energy extra.
And a lot of those guys are relatively young. Like I said, Wasatch's offensive line last year was made up of mostly seniors, so they're losing.
Almost gets sacked again. This time it's a completion, but for a loss.
And it's almost frustrating for Wasatch because it's like, I'm trying to throw the ball, but I don't have the time.
Yeah, there's no time.
Yeah, I mean, this has to be how Mountain Ridge felt in the first quarter. You're sitting there, and you got to think, man, like, I really would have liked to have the time to throw this ball.
3rd and 17. Make that 18 for Wasatch, deep in their own territory. Edwards gets it, steps back to pass, has a little more time, gets it off to Cook. He's going to be surrounded quickly. He gets an extra few yards, but basically only gets to the original line of scrimmage.
I think fundamentally one of the most important things about the game of football is not changing who you are based on the momentum. And something that I saw this last play that might concern me a little bit is it looked like those first 2 plays from Wasatch were fast-paced.
Yes.
But that third one certainly took a lot more time than we're accustomed to seeing. And so if I'm Wasatch, I'm really trying to keep who we are as a team the same. I want to keep my identity the same.
So the punt team is out for Wasatch. They're going to rely on the defense here. The kick is low. It's going to take a Wasatch bounce. It is caught and still on his feet after avoiding 4 tackles, 5 tackles now. Still on his feet. There is room to go. Finally brought down. That is Xander Herrera, I believe.
And there's a Wasatch player down on the field, face down. He's getting up now.
Herrera caught the ball after a wild bounce at their own 37-yard line. That is a 38-yard run by Herrera. I believe it was Herrera, Xander Herrera, possibly Wyatt Horrocks. I apologize. We can see that replay. I'm not sure. We can see the number of that player. We'll see this replay. Looks like 6, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that would be Herrera. Great job, team there. There's Uhulu Ave has come into the game, kind of like you said, a special player. Although that possibly could be for a loss. It'll be, looked like they gained 2 yards maybe. So it'll be 2nd down, about 8, maybe 7 for Mountain Ridge. A score here for Mountain Ridge would be devastating at this point for Wasatch. Helm makes the completion, but again, Uluave carries 3 players on his back. to salvage at least a yard or two. Yeah, Uluave is a mountain, and he's a sprinter. It's like he's just able to do a little bit of both. But an important defensive stop there by Wasatch. So it's 3rd down now and 9. So there is a yard or two loss on that play. Mountain Ridge taking their time. This time 2 backs with Helm, but Helm's going to throw to the corner, and it is incomplete. Threw it over to the sideline, the side of the end zone, and incomplete. Good coverage there. Here's the replay of that. This is one of the first times I've seen Helm line up with 2 backs.
Yeah, new formation that we're not used to seeing. Here we see the kicking team trying to get it to a 7-point lead.
5:09 left here in the 4th quarter. Mountain Ridge scored 21 points in a matter of 3.5 minutes. They're attempting this, what looks to be about a 30-yard kick, potentially through the goalposts, and it is a 7-point game. Mountain Ridge up 31-24. Wasatch will get the ball back with about 5:04 on the clock.
And I'm unsure of who is down on the Wasatch sideline, but there's been a player down that I've been watching for about
he's still on his back.
2 minutes now. I'm not sure who that is, but
we'll try to get an eye on who that is. That player is definitely requiring a little more attention than just a trainer, although that player's standing up now. And it looks like his bell was rung just a little bit. And that is Ben Wright. Yeah, Ben Wright just looks like the dinger went off. He's spinning just a little bit on that walk up. Yeah. So here we go. 5:09 left in this game. An absolute, complete, titanic turnaround for Mountain Ridge. 31-24 with the lead and giving the ball to Wasatch. Kick is up, and it looks like it's going to be able to be run at the goal line.
Call there, but
yeah, very. So that, I believe, running the ball again. I couldn't tell.
And I mean, so.
But I think it was Nalu Kitashima.
Yeah.
Does that look like who that was? Okay. Kitashima, I feel like, has been a great asset offensively for Wasatch this half in what has been a drought for Wasatch this half. So now we're looking at the Mountain Ridge crowd. Lots of energy over there on that east side of the field. And the Wasatch crowd a little quiet.
Yeah. Truly a lot of energy here from Mountain Ridge. I mean, I can hear them from the other side of the stadium. But, I mean, Wasatch, it feels like they're back on even footing. I don't know why that is, but it feels like they're back.
That kickoff return really looked like it was 28 yards. So Kitashima doing his work to get Wasatch some yards. That run play by Cook is going to get about 3 yards.
Yeah.
So it's going to be 2nd down and 7 or 8. Here's Edwards getting a little more time, gets the complete pass to La'akalama.
And I don't necessarily love the yardage that I saw gained right there.
Yes.
But I really, really love the way Wasatch is playing right now, which is the way they always play, this fast-paced, up-tempo game. I really love it.
Edwards getting a little more time. There's a complete pass once again to Nakashima. Sorry, Kitashima. Kitashima catches it and gains another about 12 yards. That is a huge Wasatch first down.
But like I was saying, though, I like how they're sticking to who they are. I like how they are Wasatch, right? I love that because when you stop playing like yourself, that's when you start making silly mistakes. That's when you lose your momentum, and that's when it's harder to get that momentum back, as we just saw drop past that.
So Kitashima wide open, and pass was a little down, probably about his waist or below, almost to his knees. So incomplete pass, but it's 2nd and 10. Edwards back. Once again, Cook behind him in the slot. Edwards looks to Cook, gives it back to Kitashima. And that will be a completion, but no gain on that play.
Here we see Ben Wright exiting through the tunnel. I would not be surprised if he had a concussion of some sort.
Yes, I agree. We probably will not see Ben Wright for the rest of this evening. Well, a big, huge 3rd and 10 here for Wasatch. Edwards back in the shotgun. Pressured
Deep
again.
ball.
There's a pass wide open, but the pass is out of play. Nikishima was open, but the pass went just a little long. And 3:27 on the clock. Wasatch has no choice but to go 4th and 10 at this stage. They're on their
to go for it at the moment.
The Mountain Ridge 46-yard line. It is 4th and 10. Edwards steps back. He has a little pressure. He finds open completion.
And that's a first down. That is a very needed first down here for Wasatch. Big-time players make big-time plays, and that's exactly what you need from Wasatch right now.
At this stage, Mountain Ridge still hurrying to get back in ready position. Blake Smith with that catch. Edwards pumps, looks left, avoids a tackle, and throws it into the ground for an incompletion. So it will be 2nd and 10. And we do have a Mountain Ridge player hurt down. Looks like he's not wanting to get off the field.
I believe it was the cramps, and I mean, that's the risky run when you're running all game. All of a sudden, they just hit you.
That's Chase Higgum again. He's not coming out. There's no way he's coming out. Edwards steps back, gets it quickly. He's got more time. The catch is incomplete.
And I like how Wasatch is still running this fast pace, but I think that Edwards is losing a little bit of his cool right here, trying to rush it. If I can give him advice right now, I'd just say, hey, calm down a little bit. You still have 3 minutes left in this game.
3rd and 10 for Wasatch. Down 7. Edwards steps back. He has a little time. He's got an open pass. That is La Coloma. Touchdown, Wasatch! No flags on the field.
No, sir. That's exactly what we want to see. Now, here's the question. Do you go for 2 right here?
And that is the million-dollar question. I would imagine they would go for the kick to seal at least the tie because, again, your game of momentum at this stage would possibly give your defense the momentum. South and back. The kick is no good. An absolute shocker. Southland has not missed at all this year except for a blocked kick in the game against. Here's the replay of the touchdown. And an absolute dart to Kalama.
Keep in mind, though, there's still a little over 3 minutes left on the game clock. Wasatch still has both their timeouts. You got to play it cool.
So,
pardon me, Wasatch still has all 3 of their timeouts.
Yes, I would agree with you on that. Mountain Ridge timeouts. Mountain Ridge, both teams with 3 timeouts, correct?
Yeah. Mountain Ridge cannot just waste away on the clock. However, Mountain Ridge could press the advantage right here and try to score again. I don't see why they wouldn't. And if they do, and if they score, it's practically game over, especially if they get a 2-point conversion. But we'll have to see how that plays out. It looks like Wasatch is lining up for an onside kick at the moment.
Well, at this stage,
never mind. Not an
Aiden
onside
Rouser
kick.
in back to receive for Mountain Ridge.
Yeah.
I'm not able to see that number. And it is going to be a squib kick. That's an onside kick. And Mountain Ridge receives it.
Yeah.
So the onside kick is not converted. Mountain Ridge now has excellent field condition.
Yeah. And if you're Wasatch's defense, you just have to keep them out of the end zone.
Yeah.
You can let them get a kick. You cannot let them get in the end zone.
So, Mountain Ridge with the opportunity here after the missed extra point, an opportunity to run this clock down and have Wasatch use their timeouts or What do you think? They may just attack, try to go for a score quickly.
I mean, there's 3 minutes with 3 timeouts left. You're not draining 3 minutes off the clock. You might as well attack right now.
Uluave is met, and that is a loss of at least a yard, possibly 2.
Well, you're going to see a loss of 2 here, but they're ruling it only a loss of 1.
They will let the clock keep running. It's at 2:43. And you would have to think that if they ran it too much, Wasatch would have to call a timeout. One of the things I was hoping that they were doing this year in high school, I thought they were going to put a play clock on the field, and I still don't see that. I don't know if I heard them talking about it. Maybe they will for a region, but in either case, Mountain Ridge, 2nd and 12. They give it to Uluave. He does get a couple yards, but it gets him maybe back to the original line of scrimmage.
And there's a timeout taken by Wasatch. Smart use of timeout. Third and 10 about. 3rd and 10 about for Mountain View.
Clock starts at 2:09.
Yeah.
So while we're at a timeout here, let's just talk a little bit about this turnaround.
This is a very interesting 4th quarter. And yet another saying, it's not over to the fat lady singing, and the fat lady still isn't singing at the moment.
No, absolutely. So what we got, though, is we had, in this game, a fabulous first quarter.
We've had
fireworks.
3 interceptions.
And now...
one of them returned for a touchdown.
Yes.
We've had...
and fireworks here in the 4th quarter, is what I was saying.
Flea flicker.
Yes.
Off the ground.
A ground rule flea flicker. I don't know what we're going to call that.
Spike ball flea flicker.
Spike ball, there you go.
That's just kind of what it reminded me of. But, I mean, this is a very crucial 3rd down because if Mountain View converts, they can run the clock down to about 1:15, and then they can convert again.
Yes.
And then,
3rd and 9. This is a pass play, and it is complete.
And he got out of bounds, which is bad for Mountain
Ridge. Yeah.
But
so they'll move the chains. It is a 1st down. They are at I believe they're putting it about the Wasatch 39-yard line. A little time running off the clock. There's 2:03 left.
Yeah.
And, of course, as you mentioned, as soon as he ran out of bounds, that made that clock stop. So helps Wasatch. But now they're facing...
like Mountain Ridge has decided to elect to not waste clock, but purely go for the attack, because if they manage to do that, game is over.
Helm gives the ball to Uluave, who's going to run, and he's going to find open space. And he sealed this game for Mountain Ridge.
And
with a touchdown, a fabulous play call there.
Yeah.
And once again, a fabulous run by Uluave.
I'm starting to hear some vocal cords warm up in the background. I believe somebody's about to start singing.
Devastating, yeah.
You still have 1:56 left.
Sure.
So if you're Wasatch, you're down by 7 at the moment, potentially 8 if they make this. You still have an opportunity to tie this game. It is not quite out of reach yet.
Wasatch in danger of being... referee was holding that. So here's the kick, the extra point. It is blocked.
The extra point is blocked.
So life still lingers in the air for Wasatch. Unbelievable.
Now, something that I saw in a JV game.
Here's the replay of that. Hiram, while you're mentioning that.
Yeah.
Oh, this is of the touchdown.
Ooh,
fabulous.
I mean, they've been saving him all game for something like this, and it was a smart play at the end of the game.
That is just brute and speed around the end.
Something that I saw last year in either a JV or a sophomore game, it was a hook and ladder that Wasatch ran at the very end of their game in order to win it. And if memory serves me correctly, Peter Muslar was the one who ended up running it in for a touchdown. But it was a nice high pinpointed pass, lateral to Peter, and we'll maybe see it again here. It worked then. It could work now.
Back to receive for Wasatch is Horrocks and Kalama. That won't matter because that ball goes into the end zone. A couple of seconds tick off the clock. 1:56 remaining in this game. So what are you talking about? You're just talking about the 2-minute drill, right?
Yep. I mean, if you're Wasatch, you have to know, like, this is it, right? There is in no way any more pressure on this than there could be.
Who has the most pressure in this situation right now, the quarterback or the offensive line?
The quarterback.
Okay.
Hands down. I think the offensive line knows that they messed up, but I also think that the offensive line is about at their limit, and I think that Adarius Edwards knows that as well. I think that Adarius Edwards knows the limits of all of his players.
Edwards takes the snap. He's got pressure. He's going down for a 1 or 2 yard loss, and more importantly, several seconds ticking off the clock. 1:44, 1:41 now. Here's the quick no huddle, as quick as they possibly can. Edwards is going to get the snap, looks to his left, finds open Kalama. He catches it. He's trying to run out of bounds, and he gets out of bounds, but only about 5 yards.
Yeah.
So that will put Wasatch, with the clock stopped, Wasatch will be third and about 7. So it's at this stage, they'll take a second longer. Edwards with the snap, looks to his right, then left, and he's got an open player, and that is not caught. It was tipped by Mountain Ridge, and I believe the tip by the coverage of Mountain Ridge was
Xander Herrera. And this brings up a 4th and 7. This is it.
So it comes down to this. 4th and 7 for Wasatch, minute 25. Down 7. This must be converted for Wasatch to have a chance. Edwards back, gets a little rush. The ball's in the air, and it is incomplete. And there was a lot of coverage there.
Yeah.
Hiram, there was a receiver, but boy, there looked like there was 3 of them on him. So.
And here we see that replay. I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with the pass there, because you had a player who you've been going to all game, that being Kitashima. It just looked like Kitashima couldn't quite jump high enough.
And with as many players that were back defensively, that might have been the play. I'm not a football expert, but boy, the midfield was wide open.
Yeah.
And that's what I kind of was expecting. I was thinking Edwards was going to look long, like he had been doing, kind of giving a look, and then catching Cook or somebody, kind of midfield and let him at least get the first down. But
yeah, and I mean, here we're really going to see how.
Here's the replay, and you can see open. There's just acres. Although, he was open. But I'm not here to second guess anybody. There's a run, so there will be a timeout by Wasatch. So that run looks like they will get a loss of a yard. And so at that point, it will be on the Wasatch 25-yard line. Mountain Ridge will have 2nd and 10. No, 2nd and 12. Looks like there was a loss. With a minute and 8 left. Now, Wasatch just used, I thought that was their second timeout, so that they would only have one more.
And, I mean, here's the predicament that you find yourself in Wasatch. I mean, like, it feels like this game is over. Morally, it feels, or not morally, but like.
Right, demorally. I mean, they're moralized, but right, it's like the feeling is they can't. They have to be on their toes. They can't be on their heels.
Exactly.
And you never know what might happen.
If you're Mountain Ridge, you're not passing the ball because you're not going to risk an interception, no matter how confident you are in your quarterback. But, I mean,
Uluave gets the ball again. He's surrounded by 5 Wasps, and they still can't take it down. Stripping, right.
they're just trying to strip the ball at the moment, trying to do their best. And, I mean...
And an immediate timeout.
That's the last timeout that Wasatch has at this point.
But you have 3rd down.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're going to give it about 3rd and about 15.
Yeah.
14. So, potential here. Wasatch, if they can get a stop, that will stop the clock. No, it won't stop the clock because they'll have 4th down. So they have potential here of being able to, 1 minute left. You figure the play will run about depending on what they do, 6-7 seconds. And then you'll have a play clock of approximately 35.
Yeah.
So that will then run to 4th down. And after that play, if they stop them, the clock will stop.
Mm-hmm.
So again, that's the volleyball mind of a football game. So
no, it's a good mind to have. I mean, you got to be keeping track of all the time that you have. And I mean, if you're Darius Edwards, you got to be thinking, hey, I have potentially one chance.
Right.
I got maybe 2 plays that I could potentially stretch this down the field.
Here we go, third down pass.
That's an interesting call.
And it is complete. No,
They're calling it incomplete.
Incomplete.
And
so
that stops the clock.
And I'm shocked a little bit by that, by Mountain Ridge. That is an automatic
and
give you back a timeout.
If their kicker can hit
Wasatch.
this, the game is over.
Yes. Well, theoretically. I've seen crazier things. I saw earlier in this game a team score 21 points in 2 minutes, and 2 touchdowns in 30 seconds. So
yeah, that is true.
The kick is up. It looks like it has length, and it is good.
And that right there is, I feel like,
that is good
for the Fat Ladies vocal cords. I feel like this game is just about over. I don't know if there's anything that you can do anymore.
That is Brody Laga
and
of Mountain Ridge with a let's measure that. That's a
35-yard kick.
8-yard kick, or somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
And that is just clutch. And just like you said, that really is a potential nail in the coffin.
Mm-hmm. And you hate to see it if you're a Wasatch fan, but if you're a Mountain Ridge fan, you got to love the way this game has turned out. And if you're a football fan in general, you cannot deny that this game has had everything that you could possibly want, whether that be a fourth quarter driven comeback of basically 33 points. 33 points. I mean, it is remarkable what Mountain Ridge has done with their back against the wall. And if you're Wasatch, you're already looking towards next week against Pleasant Grove. I mean, there's the squib kick.
And it's going to take a Mountain Ridge. Oh, that's just the worst possible thing. But now you have a run, and he is brought down. So that took off a few more seconds, 45 seconds. Wasatch has to score 10 points. And remember, Mountain Ridge scored 14 points in 30 seconds earlier in the game.
Yeah.
So you never know.
It is entirely possible. And could we see them rip off the Mountain Ridge play? I would love to see them try that Mountain Ridge play. I would love to see it.
So again, you're looking at potential deep coverage by Mountain Ridge.
You're going to see you're going to see a sticks defense right here. You can already see it. You have 4 people all along.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep.
You're just lining up in a row, and you're saying nobody's getting back. You can go underneath.
Heavy pressure. Edwards has a lot of room to run, but he's going to come down eventually. Gets the first down, and they are going to have to stop the clock to move the chains. So Edwards, with a 24-yard run, gives Wasatch a little life.
Yep.
36 seconds left. The clock will start again. Edwards will take the snap, looks up to his left, and he fumbles the ball, picks it up, and will fall on it.
Yep.
And that will run the clock out for a few seconds until they run their rapid offense. Mountain Ridge taking their time. Wasatch can still run the ball. They can still do it. They can do their thing. Here's the snap. Edwards is going to look down. He's going to find
nobody.
Yep. He's going to find Kitashima was open, but the pass went a little short.
I think
5 seconds left in this game.
In wrapping up this game, I think that I have 2 major takeaways, and that is, if you're playing Mountain Ridge, the fourth quarter is the most important time to make sure that they are totally defeated. If you don't get them in the fourth quarter, I mean, yeah. But then for Wasatch, I think that the 2 major takeaways is your offensive line is going to be running sprints all of next practice. And if you're a Darius Edwards, I would say work on keeping that cool head throughout the entire game, because at the very end, it felt like he was feeling the frustration that we were all feeling watching.
Yep.
I mean, yeah. And so also, though, if you're Darius Edwards, take responsibility for the pick six, but don't blame it all on yourself, right? You got to goldfish memory. 3 seconds, forget it.
Well, final score. Mountain Ridge Sentinels 40, Wasatch 30, and 33 of those points for Mountain Ridge scored in the last 8 minutes of the fourth quarter. So, a huge comeback will go in the books as a great comeback for Mountain Ridge. And for Wasatch, probably, back to the drawing board. A lot of things worked, things that they wanted to do, but then occasional, I would say the biggest thing was a couple of turnovers for Wasatch at the wrong time. And then massive momentum change. I mean, it was unbelievable to see the Mountain Ridge change in energy there at the end. So
there was a
that's how
3.5 minute period where Wasatch had built up a mountain of momentum, and Mountain Ridge pulled out their bulldozer and said, "Hey, look, I got a bulldozer. What are you going to do about it?"
Well, let's go ahead and look at offensive, defensive players of the game. Corey, sitting over here, he's listening to us, but he doesn't have a mic. So, and then Hiram and I will just kind of think about it for a minute, and for either team. But while we're thinking about that, we want to talk really quickly for those of you still on with us. And again, we appreciate you being with us on Sting TV. A devastating comeback loss, so to speak, for Wasatch tonight, with a big 17-point lead in the fourth quarter, and watched Mountain Ridge score 33 points in that last 8 or 9 minutes. So upcoming for Wasatch, next week they go from Mount Fuji to Mount Everest because they find Pleasant Grove coming here to town, and I would think right off, Hiram, that there's probably some really, really, really angry players down there. They're probably really upset and frustrated with themselves, and so, like you said, it depends on how you come back.
I don't know if I'm going to give you offensive and defensive players, but I'm certainly going to give you the bounce back players for next week, for Wasatch at least. And I mean, this one counts as a defensive player, but La'a Kalama really played his heart out through the entire game, had great offense, had great defense, and I think next week you're going to see him play even harder and even better. And as far as, your other player, I think that Darius Edwards is going to get angry. He's going to look at it, and he's going to say, you know what? I can do better. This team can do better. And to throw in an honorable mention, I think your O-line is going to say, hey, look, we got this. It's not that hard. So, yeah, I think that's going to be what you're going to see.
So I'm going to go with I've been thinking of this a lot. Defensively, you really, I mean, amazingly, I can't think necessarily of a defensive player for Mountain Ridge. Not that they didn't do a great job, but it was that interception there at the end that completely changed the tide of the game. And I believe that was for Mountain Ridge. Hiram saying number 10, Taylor Higgum. Oh, yeah. Definitely Higgum's got to be the one. He had several other plays earlier in the game as well. And offensively, mine is a two-part. It's a first half and a second half. Uluave running all over the field in the first half. Yeah. But you have to really give so much credit to Aiden Helm, the quarterback, offensively. Salvaged plays on 2 different 3rd down and 11s.
And on top of that, throw in Day to that conversation.
And then, who?
Day.
Okay, obviously, and that's the thing is several great players. And then Uluave with that amazing touchdown at the end. So you're just looking at that as a great team effort offensively from Mountain Ridge. Offensively for Wasatch, Josh Sanders had a great night. Had 3 or 4 great passes,
and a great
receptions,
tackle,
and obviously that as well. I agree. Edwards for sure had a good night, but they frustrated him there at the end. The defensive pressure really frustrated him, and they weren't able to score any points in that fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And so, so anyway, those are mine, and that's what I think. Corey Lang went off to do some, I'm sure, very important
Technical
things.
stuff.
So
It's been a fantastic night sitting here with Brett Martindale, Corey Lang, and I'm Hiram Gailey. But until next week, until we taste the crisp autumn air, we're signing off. You guys have a good night.
So once again, before you do that, we want to make sure you know Pleasant Grove next week at 7 p.m. Now, we're going to have a little bit bigger of a pregame show, so we're going to advertise that on our Instagram and other areas, and we'll, of course, be doing that. But we're going to try and have a little bit more of a pregame show and be able to talk about a few things. We're going to have some interviews with players, coaches, and in that really big game. So now you can go ahead and do it. Hiram, great job tonight, and we hope to see you around again soon.
See you guys next week.